Question number 3, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Immigration and asks, does he stand by all his statements, and if so, how?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Immigration, yes, and on this occasion by asking another minister to speak on my behalf.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister, does he stand by his statement in March that he is working closely with Minister Anne Tolley and Stephen Joyce to, quote, ensure that Kiwis are at the front of the queue and that immigration policy is at the end of the pipeline?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, yes. One of the things the government is currently working on is a program called the Sector Workforce Engagement Program, which is working with particular industries such as the horticultural industry, the agricultural industry, the construction industry, the truck driving industry and others to ensure that training opportunities are provided to New Zealand young people ahead of skilled migrants being sought for particular roles.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister, if his government is ensuring that Kiwis are at the front of the job queue, then why has his government consistently had 75,000 young people under 25 who are unemployed, unengaged and have no skills? And how is that working for all New Zealand?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Immigration, that's probably a question more appropriately directed to the Minister of Tertiary Education, Skills and Employment. But seeing as you've asked it, I'm pleased to report to the member that the numbers of 15 to 19-year-olds that are not in education, employment or training is at nearly the lowest level since the Household Labour Force survey started back in 2004. And in terms of the total 15 to 24s, it's back now to levels last seen before the global financial crisis. There is more we can do, but I can report for the member that we currently have 43,000 people in apprenticeships, and we're bringing that through to 50,000 people as soon as we can.
Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister, is he aware that the Salvation Army released a report today which supports New Zealand First's stance on turning the tap down on immigration, particularly low-skilled workers, or is he of the view that this religious organisation is also xenophobic and racist?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Immigration, I have to say I was disappointed in the Salvation Army report today. It was overly pessimistic and contained significant inaccuracies and misconceptions. But the interesting thing is, Mr. Speaker, is that this government does have a lower number of essential skills work visas than previously. In the last year, 33,000 were granted. A decade ago, it was 44,000 or 53,000. So definitely, young people are at the front of the queue who are New Zealanders, unlike when the Members' Party was involved in the previous government.
Order. Supplementary question, Ron Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister, is he satisfied with his government's youth unemployment record, which has consistently been around 75,000, or is he content with using his government's appalling NEET record as a pathetic excuse just to bring in more low-skilled migrants instead of educating and training our own young Kiwis?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, again, on behalf of the Minister, the member is directing the question to the wrong portfolio. But nevertheless, I know you don't like it, Mr. Mark, but we are at the lowest percentage of young people, 15 to 19, that are not in employment, education and training that we've had. The lowest percentage. That doesn't mean we can't do more, but, Mr. Speaker, it's the lowest level that we have had since the records began.
Order. Question.